Thank you for staying with us on the show. The conversation right now will be on the 10th National Assembly, which was inaugurated in the month of June 2023. It's been 3 years of lawmaking by members of the both chamber of the National Assembly. The Senate, of course, is led by Senator Godswill Akpabio, who is the Senate President, and the Green Chamber is led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD. And this particular assembly has been focusing, according to some people, on executive alignment, economic reforms, and sweeping social legislation. But people have criticized members of this 10th Assembly, particularly the Senate. They have tagged them the lapdog of the executives, everything being taken there by the executive arm of government. It's always taken hook, line, and sinker by the lawmakers. Is this what lawmaking is essentially all about? These are some of the issues we are going to treat on the program this morning with our guests. And we have here with us in the studio, Lekon Shote is a journalist and social observer. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I think the best way to start this morning is to look at the activities of the National Assembly, the 10th to be precise, in the last 3 years. And the first one that will come for me this morning is what was debated upon yesterday, which is the bill sent by Mr. President for members of the National Assembly to tinker with the Constitution of Nigeria to accommodate the creation of state police services. What's your take on the creation of state police, looking at the volume of insecurity problem that we are battling with as we speak?
I'm excited. I'm one of those people who advocate for
the creation of state
police for very, very many reasons. I think it's something that we need. I had the opportunity of living in America for some time, and I saw the difference between, well, the American National Police would be what you would call the FBI, or sometimes what you call the National Guards. And then there's the state police, there's even the local government police. My university had its own police.
Wow.
So everything is decentralized. So it's difficult for you to escape from
any of these layers of security.
Yes, yes. And I think it's something that, and I grew up, as a little boy in the primary school. I saw what we call they call them local government police. They weren't called state police at that time in the 60s and so on. And I saw that truly they maintained order within the local community. And I think it's long overdue. When I grew up, I was very little when Nigeria police, when the local police was dismantled. But as I grew older, I started feeling a vacuum, but I was too young to understand what it was. But as I grew older, I understood that, yes, we need to have, if you like, grassroots
policing system.
It's not the community police, that they are talking about.
Okay.
It's just a ruse. That one was just a way of wasting people's time. This one is going to be much, much more, and the explanation or the excuse that police will misuse it, that the governors will misuse it. I don't buy that. And then the argument by General Ibrahim Babangida that the states cannot afford it is no longer true. Now that state governments...
They're getting more revenues from the federal government.
And in any case, if you look at most of the states, the police have been armed and been taken care of, even by state governors, even before the removal of subsidy that gave them more revenue. So I don't agree with General Ibrahim Babangida.
All right, let's talk about the speed with which the Senate actually looked through this particular bill. There are certain issues. Let's take the case of insecurity, for example. Members of this National Assembly were not really proactive the way they were yesterday with the creation of state police. And of course, the fastest bill that was ever approved by the National Assembly was the national anthem. And then people are beginning to question their integrity and if indeed they are truly out there to serve the people.
Well, maybe I should say this. I'll confess this. I prefer this current national anthem to the one that's my own personal take on that, And, but I'm surprised also that it wasn't quite truly debated, Maybe it was as if There had been some backroom discussions before it went to the floor of the House, and within a twinkle of an eye, it was passed. Okay, but you shouldn't be too surprised at, especially the Senate, because just as you have observed, that's my own major focus. It appears that they've been the one with most of the problems, rather than the House of
Reps
that has been more mature than in conduct and, you know. For example, they were the ones that passed the state police thing 2 weeks ago.
even before the Senate.
Yeah, and the Senate now came and then went to second reading and then waited for another 2 weeks before final. So I'm not too excited at what they did. It's okay that they passed it, but why waste time with something that is so quick? So I remember that the Senate of the President and the Senate President once said that when he was trying to be the governor of
Akwa Ibom State,
the president then, you know, Asiwaju Bola financed, you know, part of his election. So I think he was trying to, it's like payback time. And if you recall, during the primaries of the APC in 2022,
yeah,
Akpabio was the first person to step down. You know, so some people call this thing party government or something like that. You know, so it's like you watch my back. I watch your back. Yeah, something like that. You know, so I think.
Okay, even if he was a beneficiary of Asiwaju School of Politics or so, there is a clear-cut definition of the role of the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative arm of government. But what we have seen in the past 3 years are situations whereby the executive would take certain things to the National Assembly, the Senate in particular now, and the Senate will not critically look at those things, approval of loans, and so many other things coming from the executive. And that's why people have continuously called them lapdog of the executive. How much of, how would I put it now? How has this affected growth, or the growth of our democracy, especially in this republic?
Well,
because the judiciary, I'm sorry, the legislative arm and the executive, I'm not saying they should be fighting, but the legislative arm should always be on the neck of the executive to do the needful.
As a matter of fact, the classic definition of the kind of system that we are running, what we call separation of powers, it's for checks and balances. Meaning that the executive branch, the legislative arm, is supposed to actually be a check on both the
executive and the judiciary.
As a matter of fact, we've always had the executive branch under the military and of course the judiciary. It is the legislative arm that makes it a democracy.
Yeah.
You know, and then so we need them to be better behaved. To I mean, just as you have said, it's not that they should be fighting everybody, but at least be critical. I went through the Constitution, and I saw that the Constitution actually, you know, for example, you just take loan anyhow. The National Assembly is supposed to actually scrutinize not just expenditure, but also intake of money, sources of money, and be certain that about the integrity of the money that is coming in. Now, I don't know, I've checked, I've asked questions, but I've not gotten an answer. In America, there's something called CBO, Congressional Budget Office. When I was in America, the person that was running that office was somebody called Arius Rivlin. Once you bring in anything that has to do with finance, this woman and her team will go through. Whether you want to take a loan, they will analyze. Whether you want to take your budget, they will analyze. Everything, they go through it deeply and advise the Congress, both the Senate and the House of Rep in America. They advise them. And a lot of times, I don't think we have anything like that. I've checked, I've asked questions, I've looked at, I can't see anything like that. So something is missing. Maybe they need to now begin to have something like that that can scrutinize issues like that. And then I see that we have a bunch of individuals who are unserious. Sometimes, if they are not chasing after the skirts of one of the female senators and becomes a big scandal, they are fixing. You remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, when one of the senators was
Senator, former governor of Edo State,
finding a nice way to say, even your daughter is working with NNPC. Do you understand? The man asked, the Senate president was asking him a different question, but he found a way to say, look, you two, you are compromised. Do you understand? So if that is, if all...
Okay, that was when they wanted to probe the
NNPC,
the books of the NNPC.
200 million, I mean, what was it?
Dollars.
Yeah. So, you know, he found a way to let him know that we know what you two, you are doing. So if we are going to be having people who are going to be dependent on, what is that thing called? Ghana must go for oversight functions, you know. If they have to be saying, please fix my daughter or fix my son. Look, there's nothing wrong in anybody's child working.
If they are qualified.
If they are qualified, you know. But the way that senator made that statement, it appears it was more of somebody leaning on somebody in NNPC to get the job for the child, rather than looking at the qualification of the child. I don't know the child, I don't know the qualification of that child, but for that senator to be saying that, there's something more to it. Overall, I think the Senate has been more unserious than the House of Rep. And it probably, sometimes somebody will be joking that please check your
check your phones.
Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. And then he will now change it and say it's a prayer and all that. The impression I get is that we are dealing with a very unserious person who is leading a very, very, very important, significant... I mean, like I said, it is the National Assembly that makes this a democracy. It is the National Assembly that makes this, what we have now, a democracy. And that's why they call them honorable or distinguished.
Okay, let's talk about the high moments of this 10th National Assembly. It was this assembly that passed the bill raising the national minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira.
Does that impress you? 70,000, how much, what is that?
These are some of the things they have listed as their achievements. And of course,
they
also supported...
70,000, what are you are going to have to be a thief to say you are... How can you live on 70,000 naira? 70,000 naira, to do what? Where? Even in the village, you can't live on 70,000 naira. It means that somebody wasn't thinking. See, you have removed subsidy. I don't have problem with that, okay? And therefore, you say we are running a system that requires more thinking, more depth before we can run our system. Now, our expenditure, the world is flat, as they tell us now. So we are reflecting the cost in metropolitan economies. The market that you are going to, everything that you are buying is reflecting the cost. And you are not reflecting the salary in those places. And somebody is happy that they should be ashamed for listing that 70,000 naira.
Is that what they take home? As members of the National
They
Assembly?
themselves, that they say they are able, somebody said they are taking about 353 million naira every year by the time they put everything together. And then you are excited that you are giving somebody 70,000 naira. It just shows that somebody is lazy and is not thinking. 70,000 naira to do what?
Okay, they have also listed the Nigerian Education Loan Fund bill, which was approved by the National Assembly as one of their achievements.
Their idea? Was it? I mean, you know, they are supposed to sometimes come up with ideas. I mean, their job is lawmaking. So what is that their initiative? That's not... I didn't come here to fight these people, but let's...
But that's the reality of our time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's also look at the tax laws. It was also approved by this 10th Assembly.
Good. You passed tax law that will tax people. You did not also say, Mr. President, let's look at your economic policies. Is it empowering? Is it enriching people?
Or draining their pockets?
No. Tax is going to be draining pockets. Okay. Now, how do people make that money? Your policies, are they working? You have removed subsidy. That's fine. But there are some things. Look, how can you have a Senate that will tell some people, ministers, to take a bow? Take a bow. And then you look at it. Look, I think last time I was here with you. How can you put a lawyer in charge of industry? A lawyer who has not worked in industry before. What is she going to be doing? It will just treat the job as look, I ran a factory for 10 years, so I know the difference. Or you put the former Minister of Power, who is a chartered accountant, or Central Bank governor, deputy governor. What is he going to do? He literally bungled throughout the whole 3 years that he was there. Because the issues are bigger than him. You need a specialist, somebody who understands the job. You know, industries, power, what do you call it, the oil industry. You need somebody who is an expert in those areas. Agriculture, not somebody who you put him there because his father was a military governor in those days, and then you made him Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. This is emergency. Do you understand? And I'm not impressed by this. They don't scrutinize issues. You just bring. You're not concerned about the personnel that the president is putting in strategic positions, and then you are listing 70,000 naira.
Okay, it was also this 10th Assembly that increased budgetary allocation, especially for defense, to about 5.41 trillion naira. And looking at their performance now holistically, how is the performance affecting governance, and what the people are getting in terms of the dividends of democracy from this current administration?
They are contributing to the poverty because they are not clearly scrutinizing the policies of the government. If you go through the Constitution of Nigeria, where it discusses about it gives them power to query the government. Not fighting, but you query, you ask questions. Why is this like this? Why are you spending this kind of money? Your policies? Can you come and give us? You know, they even have the right to summon the ministers, or even the president, to come and explain to them what he's doing.
Even sometimes when they summon ministers, those ones they don't answer them.
See, the Senate has the powers to order the arrest of those ministers. It is only those people. If you look at Section 3308 of the Constitution, that says, okay, some people are exempt from being prosecuted or arrested. That's the president, the vice president, the governors, and the deputy governor. That's all. Ministers can be arrested. And the Senate is certainly superior to even the presidency, the executive branch. It can order the arrest of anybody. Why are they not doing that? Are they afraid? Why are they not doing that?
Okay, the other day, the former governor of Edo State now, Adams Oshiomhole, raised some dust saying that the signatures that were attached to the petition that led to the suspension of Senator Natasha was actually that 2 or 3 of those signatures were forged. What will that allegation, I wouldn't know if it is true or not, do to the reputation of this current assembly?
Damage. You know, I think Senator Adams
Oshiomhole,
he has been Nigeria's #1 labor leader. That's a highly responsible position.
Why did he wait this long to raise it?
Very good. Well, it's time to speak. Then second, he has been governor of a state for
8 years.
8 years. And then he was chairman of APC for, I don't know, about a year or thereabout, or 2 years. He was chairman. He has held highly responsible positions. I was a civil servant, and I know how much they even swear us on oath. There are some things I can't say in public, even after I've left civil service. I can't say some things. But for him to stand up and begin to say what he's saying, certainly I like to believe that there's some element of truth in what he's saying.
So for you, what would that do to the reputation of the National Assembly?
Damages it now.
All right.
So anything they do, I've never, especially that Senate, I don't take them serious at all.
But the Senate president was a former governor.
Big deal.
It's not a joke to be a governor in Nigeria. Much more of a Senate president.
All you need is Baba Sokwe, and then I'm sure.
So is this 10th National Assembly a Baba Sokwe assembly?
You are asking me. Exactly. When you know the high-wired, I'm sure you know the high-wired negotiations that went into. Do you remember there was somebody in the North who wanted to be Senate president? And it took a lot of negotiations to get him off so that this Akpabio can the Senate President. I'm sure you are aware.
I'm not aware. I'm not a member of the National Assembly, and I'm not.
No, it was in the media. There was so much negotiation going on, trying to get that man. I've forgotten his name. He wanted to be Senate President. He's from the north, I think from Kano or Kaduna State. He insisted. It took a lot, and the president's intervention to get him, to concede and allow Akpabio to be Senate President. And then see what he's doing. Very unserious. He would be cracking jokes that, are not. He's a serious-minded. I used to go and watch, in America, I used to go and watch the House of Rep in session when Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House of Rep, when Reagan was the President. I would go and watch what they did. This is not what those were doing. This is a joke. You don't even, you don't interrogate, you just say, come and bow.
Take a bow.
Take a bow. And then they give you wrong personnel, and you are not.
Or they ask you to off the mic.
Or something like. He was the one that was saying,
off the mic.
They asked him to off the mic.
When he was,
when he was a minister. So, look,
Okay, the current Senate also introduced over 844 bills, with more than 50 signed into law, while the House of Reps received over 1,000 proposed bills during the first 3 years of its tenure.
Well, those ones that weren't signed, could they be frivolous? Could somebody say, well, this is frivolous? I suspect that they probably came from within the chambers themselves. They are supposed to be able to initiate laws. So if eventually it gets to the other house and they throw it out, or it even gets there and it gets to the presidency and is also not passed, it means it was a frivolous. And the Constitution allows them, once the two houses agree on an act of parliament and send it to the president has, I think, is it 30 days or 90 days to decide. If he doesn't sign it or refuses to sign it, they can take it back to the National Assembly and discuss it again. If it gets to third backing, it becomes a law. Why didn't they do that? That means maybe they don't even believe in what they're...
Okay, the poor quality of representation that we have seen, it's more on the part of the Senate than the House of Reps. Would you ascribe it to the fact that the red chamber of the National Assembly has now become the den of retirement for former governors?
Yeah, people who are tired, who should go and be looking after their grandchildren, they come there and go and be wasting people's time, and they're protecting interests and fighting their state governors, becoming a threat to even the progress of policy formations in their states, interfering in everything that is going on and disturbing the state governors. Of course, some of the governors are smart enough; they know how to fend them off. You listen to some of them from the Southwest, for example. Some of them who are governors, who are 90, you don't really hear them say anything. Many people have stolen so much money, they only came to come and show off and start living in Abuja and be just throwing their weight about, because they don't have anything to do anymore. If you didn't have it, even if you had a business that you were doing, then you became governor, you have stolen so much money. Even if we can't prove it, I can't prove if anybody stole any money, but we can see that their lifestyle suddenly changed. You enter some people's house, you are asking yourself, is this house in Nigeria? The kind of things you see in those houses.
It has happened to me before somewhere.
Then you wonder, you ask, I've seen houses in Abuja, and I'm like, this man was left, the last time he was governor was 2007. Where did he get this? Which work? Somebody with school cert, who was local government chairman, this, that, became governor. Which work did he do? Or somebody whose husband was a military head of state, and then she has two universities, one in Kano named after her, one in Nigeria Republic. That tells you how much the people's commonwealth is being stolen by these people. And so they become idle, and they go to the house of where they are supposed to take advantage of their experience as governors. We are not taking advantage of it. Rather, they are just sitting down there and wasting everybody's time.
Though we have seen that these people are not really serving the interests of those who send them.
Maybe we should cancel the Senate even.
Or should we make it part-time?
What are they doing? Council, maybe you have one chamber in the states.
At the state level.
And so what happened? Are they not passing laws? So what do you want to do with Senate? It's not just a waste of people's time. Distinguished senator.
All right. For those Nigerians now, especially those that will be eligible to vote in 2027, these people are there in Abuja to represent their interests. But obviously, from what we have had this morning, they're actually serving their personal interests. For those Nigerians or for those lawmakers who will be returning to Abuja in 2027, the Nigerians have the power to decide if they are going to return to the chamber or not. So what should they do with their vote this time around?
Well, I'm sorry to say that they have so much weaponized poverty that if they give you a bag of rice and 5,000, that measly, miserable 5,000 naira, you are likely to vote for them.
5,000 naira cannot buy anything.
Or whatever it is they will give them. I've seen people who will go to somebody who is not yet a senator, who is just aspiring. They will say, meaning that he will be doing naming ceremony. Your wife has been pregnant for 9 months.
9 months, yeah.
You didn't know you are going to do naming ceremony. You now went to somebody who is not yet
a lawmaker,
but just aspiring. You are already telling him, and so that he will give you money. Somebody will tell you that, Ruben Abati will tell you that when he was just trying to be deputy governor, people will come, before he wakes up, they have emptied all the beer in his fridge, in his house, before he wakes up in the morning.
So are we getting the type of leadership that we deserve?
You see, when you say that, you are blaming us as people. They have weapons.
When you go to the house or the office of a politician, he will not be the one to force you to drink beer.
But they took the beer themselves.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. See, what I said earlier is that they have weaponized poverty. If they pay you 70,000 naira, haven't they made you a poor person to start with? Mm. So if you see free beer in the fridge of the man, you will take it. You see, or if they give you a bag of rice, you will be happy. Don't you remember during COVID, when they were hiding Indomie in some of those? People went there and opened those stores, and people say, "Want jolly?" I say, "No, they are taking. It's for them now. You are slow in distributing the COVID palliatives." So they went to take it themselves. How can you say it belongs to them? You say it's their own. It's not COVID-19 palliative. So they went to take it. What's the problem? They went. You remember that governor who put government money in government house? Mm. He said, so what is the problem?
Okay, so for us to get things better in terms of lawmaking process and those that will be representing us at the chambers of the National Assembly, what should the media and, of course, civil society organizations be doing at this time to put them on their toes to do the needful?
Okay. Section 22 of the Constitution says the media should hold government accountable to the people. We have a responsibility in the media to look at policies and not be influenced by partisan issues or even sectional, regional, religious issues, but to be objective. Because if we in the media destroy this country, we will be part of the people that will suffer it. It wasn't just the people who created a problem in Rwanda that suffered it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just the people who created a problem in Sierra Leone and Liberia that suffered it, or in Somalia, or in Liberia. Everybody, including the media, suffered it. They are themselves, their wives or husbands, their children, their relatives, friends and others suffered it. So we need to understand that we have a stake in this country and be more forthcoming in terms of, you're not going to be fighting people in government, but
just
let them intelligently explain, yes, sir, this policy, you do research, you let them understand that this is what is happening. And then you are talking about civil society and the people themselves. There is a section in the Constitution called the recall. It's a very long process, but you can remove a senator or member of the House of Rep. There's a section in the Constitution called recall. You can recall and say, this man, once you get the required number of signatures of registered voters in that district, if it's a senator or constituency, if it is a member of the House of Rep, once they sign, the process can begin and they will remove that person. We have never done it once. What is wrong with us? Again, this poverty, because we are afraid. Don't let us offend that man. Because the things that he's doing. Haven't you seen governors say, I gave judges official cards? Like, who are you? Is it your money that you are using to give them? You say, I gave them. What did you give them? You know, so again, it just tells you how much that these people have weaponized poverty. If you read my column yesterday in the Punch,
booby trap, something constitution.
Exactly. Can you see that this thing is written in the Constitution?
That the welfare and security of the people shall be the core responsibility of
government. Yes, the Constitution says you cannot hold government accountable.
If government is not able to fulfill that, go to court. Part of the Constitution.
The Constitution now says you cannot go to court. The Constitution wrote those chapter 2. You wrote it yourself. Then you are now saying, but you cannot. It's not justiciable.
But the Constitution is not ours.
Okay.
That you also wrote in your piece.
It's even a military,
but it started with we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It's even a military decree because it was signed by the military head of state, Abu Salam.
Abu Bakr.
So we are still, if you ask me, we are still under military regime. If that thing was signed by a military head of state, it means we are still under a military regime, whether we like it or not. Technically, yes, that's my opinion.
So how long shall we continue on this journey of doom that is not taking us anywhere? Because the politicians are meant to be serving us, especially members of the National Assembly. They're expected to be making laws that will add value to the lives of the people. But that obviously is not playing out. Majority of them will go to their constituencies or their senatorial district, give rice, give jam forms.
Yeah. And they help some.
And some that are reasonable enough will facilitate some project or infrastructure to their constituencies.
They buy Ero Elota, Ero Elogi. Is that what they buy Marwa for them? Is that the kind of thing we are talking about? Policies that will turn the economy around. That's what we are talking about. It's not Ero Elota, Ero Elogi that you are going to be buying for people.
Or the tricycles.
Or tricycle. What is that? Or motorbike. That's we are keeping them down. How much can you make? If you insist and say, Mr. President, let's have electricity by all means, you challenge the governors. They have now liberalized electricity. Governors, what are you doing? When those infrastructures are in place, for example, railway line, connecting the southwest, the entire southwest as one unit. Railway lines connecting the southeast as one unit. Railway line, northwest, so that the things that will keep us going. We have abandoned in the southwest. We have abandoned
hectares of land.
What Awolowo and Akitola created what they call the farm settlements. Those facilities are still there. And I know a particular commissioner of agriculture who was going to do disco, carrying university girls to a farm settlement to go and be commissioner for agriculture, who is supposed to turn that place around. The only thing he was doing is carrying girls to that place with his friends to go and be doing party. Whereas they should turn that place around. Nobody is interrogating that. Everybody keeps quiet. And, don't talk because he may not remember you when he wants to distribute rice and...
Okay, so as we wrap up this conversation, are you hopeful by any chance that these 10th Assembly, the two chambers now, might still spring some surprise even as they inch closer to the end of this 10th Assembly?
Okay, let me put it this way. I will go to the redemption camp and ask for revelation. Maybe I will see something about it. But as far as I'm concerned, they are not going to make any changes.
All right.
However, I need to commend them. Electricity bill, this state police, they have also the prison system. Yeah. There's also, that was the 9th Assembly that did that. That state governments can now have their
control the correctional centers.
Yes, sorry. That one is the 9th Assembly that did that. So, okay. But at least those two, I really, really commended that they had the boldness to do those things. Electricity. Now we can go to our governor and say, Governor, Why
Are
don't
we
you
not
have-
generating electricity?
Yeah, because, and it's about policy. I was discussing with some of them some time ago. I said, look, this, even though you have liberalized, but the way the thing is, it won't work. They say, why? Say, you have GENCOs on one side.
And you have
You have transmission in the middle. Then you have disco. Whereas, let's say I think is it Ikeja Electric that we have here?
Ikeja, yes.
Okay. Ikeja Electric is a disco. It should have its own transmission line. It should have its own GENCO, its own generator. Everything should be integrated. If there's no light in your house, where you went to buy credit, that man or woman that sells credit, if you say, I don't have, if we say, oh God, we are only selling. If you say you go to, because I've traveled that route.
So the package should be one?
It should be one. I went to Ikeja Electric. Oh, they say, oh, it's what transmission gives us. So they cop out. Transmission, where's their office? Abuja. I will travel to Abuja to go and talk to them. Or I will go to Geregu to go and talk to, or I will go to, it doesn't work like that. But if it is inside one unit, you understand, it becomes easy to compel work to be done. But this one, everybody can be excused. You cannot hold anybody responsible.
All right.
This model that we are using.
The conversation this morning has been on the performance of the 10th National Assembly. It's been 3 years of lawmaking, and we have compared the performance of the two chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Reps. It's not all gloomy, like you rightly stated. He commended the 10th National Assembly for that bill on the creation of state police and that on the Electricity Act. But in some other areas, they are indeed lagging behind and not serving the interests of the people that they are meant to serve. We've been having this conversation with Lake Shorter, journalist and social observer. We thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll take a very short break now. When we come back, it will be the turn of Joy. And at Debimpe, of course, Joy is still suffering from the discos and gencos of our area.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.